Hi there, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Masichabam Tebu and welcome here. This is a series of called Bedside Reads, and this is just books that I read or I've read over the years, and I'm reading them again just for the sake of sharing them with you guys, but also the books that I'm going to be reading in the future. We'll also talk about them in this series of Bedside Reads. I'm so excited that you're here. Please comment, like, and make sure that you switch on your notifications for the next video that I'm going to upload. But yeah, so I've been saying that I want to talk about The Lean In by Sheryl Sandberg, and this is finally a video talking about Sheryl Sandberg and The Lean In. So tune in and enjoy. So firstly, I'm going to do a disclaimer. I will not be going through the book page by page or chapter by chapter, because the aim of these videos is to encourage you to go out and read these books, and I don't want to give spoilers, so funding that I've already spoken about, but these are just the things that I've picked up, that I've learned, and I am learning to implement in my own life, in my work life, in my family life. And yeah, so I'm not going to be giving spoilers, but I will be doing just what I've learned in this book. So and I'm going to be make notes, obviously, just so that I don't ramble on in this video forever for 2 hours, because I could talk about this book over and over. So I read this book 4 years ago, right? So when I started doing this YouTube channel, I said this would be the first book that I'm going to talk about. But obviously I read it 4 years ago. I'm not the same person I was 4 years ago. And when I was reading it again, I realized that there's things that annoy me now that didn't annoy me when I was reading the book 4 years ago. When I read the book 4 years ago, I just took the advice and I ran with it. But I'm realizing, hey, 4 years later, I'm like, actually, why am I doing this? This is annoying. But yeah, as we go through the video, I'll tell you what particular part annoyed me in the book. So first things first, internalizing the revolution. What is the revolution? For me, the revolution is, where are women right now in South Africa as a Black woman? Where are we as women? Of course, there's women who represent us in the banks, in film, the creative arts. There's women who represent us in parliament. We have come a long way as women. But then I trickle down to, in my family, where are the women in my family? Where are the women in the community lang Puma Corner? Where are they? How far have they come? And then this is where then I made an internal decision when I read the book, that actually, you know what? We're not that far. We haven't gone that far. And I'm not being hard on the women in my family, or the women in my community, or the women that I know. I've actually learned to be a bit more kind to myself and to other women. Our family dynamics are very different. Where we come from, where in our families, where women are in our families, it's not their own fault. It's not even something that it's easy to pick up on. But it's the resources that we did not have. They did not have a long time ago. And we're still fighting for those resources. So if you are hungry, when you are hungry, you cannot be looking for fulfillment. You cannot be looking for passion. You just want to make money to have something to eat, have something to feed the kids that you have. So we're not pushing passion, you're not pushing fulfillment, you don't even know what a healthy mental state is. So that's where most women in South Africa are, and that's where most women in my close circle are. We are just learning about the importance of mental health. We are just learning about the importance of fulfillment. So that is what internalizing the revolution is. And I made a conscious decision to have a look at my own life and be like, are you fulfilled, or are you just working to feed yourself? Are you making sure that the women abeza behind you are going to experience the same thing that you're going to that you've experienced and even more, or is it just all about you? And you know, and we're a generation that is very quick to say it's not my responsibility to be a role model. Njani, guys, njani. It is my responsibility to be a role model to my sister. It is my responsibility to be a role model to my little cousins. It is my responsibility. We have not, as a family, we have not gone that far. Ukuthi sesingathi it's not my responsibility to be my sister's role model. It is my responsibility. So that is what internalizing the revolution is about. Of course, I have to speak about the challenges umuntu abhekana now when you're trying to figure out your career. For one, there's people who know from the onset to which bafuna ukuba yini, and their resources and support and everything that allows them ukuthi bakhethe from the onset to this is what I want to be, and they go for it. But for some of us, it's just how am I going to make money, and that's what you go on. But now that we're older, we actually have the mental capacity. We might not have the financial resources, but we have the mental capacity to tell our young brothers and sisters that, hey, you can look for fulfillment in your career. And it's also about understanding that for us, for South Africa, and for our families, in our families, to reach equality will be a point where our girls and our women are holding 50% of parliament, holding 50% of CEO positions in big companies. But it will also be when men are 50% in the home, being what they want to be in the home. If a man wants to be a nurturer, wants to be a house husband, we will need to get to a point where even us as women don't see those men as less of. And that will be true equality. Equality isn't just about getting us there, at the top. It's also about getting to a point where we stop putting, men into these horrible positions now, but that they didn't choose, So that is what internalizing the revolution is about. And then the next thing that I picked up is the ambition gap. The ambition gap, and this is, as a parent, and it's something that I'm conscious of in the way that I'm raising my children. When you read La We Lean In, Sheryl Sandberg talks about how as women we are raised in a certain way and boys are raised in a certain way, and making examples which I also know from my own upbringing. If you're a loud girl, if you're loud and you're not afraid to express yourself, we are papa. It's negative. But if a boy is loud and is talks too much, he's a leader. He knows what he wants. Taking risks, and it's all about taking risks in business. Utatama risk. When you are wanting to climb the corporate ladder, you take risks. And risks are things that are very much discouraged from the very onset when we're growing up as girls. But for boys, they're encouraged to take risks. There are a lot of things that are encouraged for men, which help them in their careers when they are older. And Tina, because we've learned this thing from a very early age, as a girl, you don't take risks. As a girl, uhlala kanjena. As a girl, ukhuluma kanjena. As a girl, officing. Funeka ukwazi ukuthi uthi excuse me, actually I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna work. And you can't do that if ufundisa ukuthi you must always yeah, so no, you can't do that, you know, and that's how we're raised. So as we are tina now, as mothers and as women now, we are conscious of that with him. Of course, you still have to be respectful, you still have to be all the things, but also we need to encourage our girls to take risks. Go for that higher math grade that other kids are going for. Go for the dangerous sports that the boys are told to go for, because that's what builds your character. That's what builds your that's what builds getting rid of fear. It's doing those hectic things that boys are encouraged to do and girls are discouraged from doing. And then sit at the table. Now this one, it touched me quite a lot because it talks about the internal barriers that we've built for yourself. So as women, we have external barriers that we all know about. We are paid less than men, even though we do the same jobs. There's so much there are external barriers that hold women back. But then we have these internal barriers that we have built along the way as we are growing up. Part of it comes from that ambition gap that is there when we are brought up, but also the self confidence is one thing that we lack sometimes as girls. Self-worth nje, ukuzazi nje ukuthi I won't do this or I will do that. That self-worth, it takes time to build as you grow up. And then also, learning the ways of contributing when you're inside now the space that you've always wanted to be in. When you're now invited to sit at the table and make a contribution, imposter syndrome is a huge thing for a lot of us out there, because nje, I know for a fact now ukuthi whenever I'm told to go to, wow, that was good, I always think positive reinforcement. My boss is just being nice. He wants me to do well. I always think that way. I never think, oh my God, my boss actually just like is recognizing what I did good and that's it. It's imposter syndrome. I need to adjust, and intellectually and emotionally. And you have to challenge the notion that you're about to fail or you're not going to make it. So that you are working towards as a woman, you need to challenge yourself emotionally as much as you are challenging yourself intellectually. And we're very good at challenging ourselves intellectually, always studying, always going for the next position, but we are lacking sometimes in emotions, and we have to challenge ourselves even in that situation. I mean, personally, I'm a person who can be quiet. I can be very quiet sometimes, especially in a professional setting. I can leave a meeting without saying a word, and I'm sure maybe that has affected my progression. I don't know, but maybe it has. But when you're challenging yourself emotionally, that's when you know yourself as naturally umuntu onjani. Challenge that. And there's examples in the book where umuntu that is ozazi ukuthi speaks softly, they make sure that they speak louder in a meeting, because you're challenging your natural instincts. It's a natural instinct for me to keep quiet, but I make sure now that in a meeting I say something, because I know I could easily not get disengaged. I'm not disengaged. I'm very much in the meeting, but I can just keep quiet. And now I challenge myself to say something, even if it's to add on that, but just so that I've said something. I make sure I do that as well. And then success and likability. Look out for yourself. Look out for yourself. Now, this is something else that is also quite interesting that I picked up from this book. And when I looked at my own life, I realized success and likability are two like izinto engathi ziya kanje. When you go for success, your likability goes down. I don't know why. You're less liked. You're less liked when you're aiming for success. But that's because what it takes for success requires a lot from you as a person. And as I'm saying, you're challenging yourself. You're challenging your natural self. You're challenging yourself mentally. And to other people who are not on the same level of wanting success, they might not like you. Look out for yourself as a woman. Now, men are very good at this. Men are very good at this. You talk to any top men in any industry, and they will tell you very easily, oh no, I don't. They're very quick to cut out people who are not going to benefit their success. They're very good at that. Oh, but Tina, we are so apologetic about wanting to be successful. We are so apologetic about everything and being liked. And so we will limit even our success just so that we can keep our group of friends, just so that we can keep our family members happy, and just so that we can keep our partners happy. Hey, I realized that actually this thing of cooking 7 days a week is not going to work for my success. And I may not be liked in this household right now by my kids and my husband, but guess what? I'm looking out for myself. I'm going to find eventually a routine that will support my family's nutrition and also my success. I don't have much time. 35 is here, 40 is knocking. And if I'm going to be there's going to be some drastic changes that are going to happen, guys. Watch this space. I have a challenge right now. The flash here is on, so I can't see my notes. I really cannot see my notes, and I've written so many things here. I hope what I'm saying makes sense. Hit a like there, guys, if I'm not making sense. Tell me I'm not making sense. But hey, I'll put some of this what I've written down in the comment section so that if I've missed anything, because I can't see. I literally cannot see. So the fourth thing that I've learned is aim for fulfillment. Now, if somebody had told me this 10 years ago, I would have been in a very different space in my life. But I am grateful to Sheryl Sandberg for reminding me this. Aim for fulfillment. Very key in aiming for fulfillment is have that general big goal that you have, and then have an 18-month action plan. I loved this, and it works for me. I hope it'll work for you as well. So 5 years, where do you see yourself in 5 years? I see myself in 5 years doing this. I see myself in 5 years starting my own business, or running my own business, or being an MD, or being a CMO, Chief Marketing Officer. But I've cut down the action plan to just 18 months. I just have to ngizibambe for 18 months. That's all I gotta do. I just have to hold myself for 18 months. And then after 18 months, if I'm not happy, I'm gonna move on to something else. I'll still make the dream that I'm going for, because it's not a specific goal. You know what I mean? It's not a specific goal. It's an overall, here, this is where I want to be. But I'm taking it by 18 months. That's not a lot. It's literally 1 year and 6 months, you know? So try to do that to when you're aiming for fulfillment. Now, this means that I can schedule time for rest. I can push if I need to push, but I have time to review. It's not I can see even in my progress much quicker. I find, waking up 5 years later and I'm like, what did I do with my life? what did I do with my life? And so this is why last year I did a certificate in marketing, just a 12-month certificate in marketing, because it was part of my 18 months plan. And luckily, now I'm in my I'm in my 18th month, and I'm so happy with where I am currently in my professional career, in my personal life. I'm so happy. So now I'm starting another 18 months, and I know what I want to do for the next 18 months, and I'm pretty sure by the next 18th month I'm going to be even more fulfilled. Now, am I burning myself out did I burn myself out during this 18 months? No, I did not. I worked hard, yes, and I'm still working quite hard, but there's something that is shifted mentally, because I know it's going to be, this goal is literally it only has 6 months. I only have 6 months left in this goal, and so I don't know, it just shifts your mental state. It doesn't feel like you're working so hard that you're burning out. You're also still able to take time for rest. Yeah, so that for me has worked. And I cannot stress how important it is to have personal goals. Even as a full-time mom, like full-time housewife, have your own personal goals. They can be stupid things, I I sometimes have stupid goals of wanting to change some certain items to be the same color in my wardrobe. It's a stupid goal, but it keeps me going. It keeps me going. Having a goal for reading a book, I feel so good about myself when I've finished a book, because it happens ukuthi you are working on something and ayihlangani, but having that little goal of having all your underwear items as the same color, for me it helps. Finishing reading the last page of a book, for me, gives me so much fulfillment, because I don't feel as bad about myself as I probably would, or as I did years back when I didn't have any personal goals. I was just trying to make money just for the sake of making money. I didn't even have any, so yeah, aim for fulfillment, guys. And whatever you're doing, aim for fulfillment in your personal space, in your work career, in your family career. Have those personal goals that you can go for, and override your natural tendencies as much as you can. If you're not a reader, override that natural tendency. Read something, a magazine, whatever, read it. Override that natural tendency and exercise. You don't like to, whatever, just override your natural tendencies. While you're working on other things, override your natural tendencies so that you still are able to feel good about who you are. And then I have here authenticity, and this is because I had a challenge of not liking myself, my personality. So I'm a very playful person naturally. And I didn't like this, because I was like, who would put me in an MD position? As figure in the boardroom, I'm out here dancing, And I didn't like that about myself. So I love seeing people like Amanda Dambuza being authentic in who they are. I love seeing people just like being authentic and being who they are while they go for big things. And it made me realize that it's because before it was men who were up there, who were going for things, and that was that's what we saw. When you saw success, you saw a huge and serious face, But now that we are there, women, we have personalities, and we're bringing it there. So it's not, success is not a suit and a serious face. Success is, hey darling, it is exactly that now. And it's not the, this is long, it's multifaceted. You know, it's this, it's not one, it's not linear, it's not one thing. Now success, it is a whole lot of different faces, shapes, colors, um length, height, konke. It's now there because we're all getting in that space. And you can want to be a housewife without people going, oh my goodness, Lisa team. You know, you can want to be a housewife without feeling bad about it, and be authentic in who you are, and be authentic in your space around your friends. Ungashawa nge pressure of being a CEO at 30, 30 under 30 Forbes. You know, we can be authentic around our families, our friends. And I love that. I love that I can be myself. I love that I can just be myself, be playful in the boardroom without people thinking, Lona, she's not going anywhere. Okay. And then oh my goodness, the one guy that annoyed me when I read it this time around. First time around, I read it and was like, okay, I'm going to communicate with my partner, my husband. Hey, baby, this is what I need. As a woman who wants to be in an entrepreneur and in business, you know, it says make your partner a real partner. What's annoying me now is, why am I making him? Why is it my responsibility to make my partner a real partner? So this is why I say, and Sheryl Sandberg also said the same thing. Men, read this book, understand what your partners are going through, so that you can be better partners. It talks about sharing the load of the household chores, sharing the load of the upbringing of the children, sharing the load of the logistics of growing my career and your career. Make your partner a real partner. Okay, we will make them, we'll help them along. Okay, we'll help them. We'll do it, but we're not gonna do it for long, guys. We're not gonna do it for years and years and years and years. I'm happy for the younger generation with him. Men, the younger generation of men are not the same as the older generation of men. They're more progressive, and but yeah, hey guys, the time for us to be teaching you simple things of being a partner is over. It's time for action now. We need to actually see, and we have seen it with a lot of successful women. We can have both these days. You can be a successful woman and be a wife. Where you had to not have a husband for success. We absolutely appreciate that. But yeah, make your partner a real partner. If you're not in that state yet, talk to your partner about it and make him understand. And of course, when you're going out on dates, you're not going out on dates to find a husband. But if you happen to be in a relationship and you can see things over in Kingala, and it actually, in the book, it says that if a relationship is in a state where someone feeling oppressed usually doesn't get, not oppressed, oppressed is a very big word, but if your relationship is starting at a point where there's an imbalance, usually it doesn't get better, it gets worse. And because of the way that we're raised, we very much quickly take on the roles of nurturing our men, loving them in a very motherly way, and nurturing, because we are nurturers by nature, right? Of course. But now, if you are going to be nurturing to a point where you're not getting any nurturing back yourself, you will have a challenge in whatever state, whether you're choosing to be a stay-at-home mom, you will find that you'll forever be pouring and not getting anything back. So we need to actually talk about these things from the very very early on in our relationships. People who are dating, it's late for us. Save yourselves, guys. But yeah, luckily umuntu is blessed with a partner you can talk to and communicate effectively, and you're able to grow together. But if you're not in a position or in a relationship in a position in your relationship where you are supported, whether you're wanting to pursue a professional career, whether you're wanting to pursue entrepreneurship, or whether you're wanting to pursue being a housewife, yeah, check it. There's plenty of other, yeah. So yeah, the hard truth I've written here, a hard truth is, if a relationship starts unbalanced, chances are it will get more unbalanced when there are children involved. Tina, we started with the children, and then, so yeah. In closing, luckily my eyes are getting used to the flesh and now I can see. In closing, equality will be achieved, but we have to understand and acknowledge how stereotypes and biases cloud our beliefs and perpetuate the status quo. Jehovah. Equality will be achieved. We have to understand. Let's understand our stereotypes as women. Let's understand our biases as Black women, and then we will make sure that status quo siyawiswa. Okay, we'll make sure status quo will basically ngekuhlale kunje. But the only way for us ukuthi silwe lento ekuyiyona njengamanje, we have to absolutely have to understand our biases as Black women, the stereotypes of women. We have to understand them. What are the stereotypes, guys? Use Google stereotypes, Google biases, bese uyabheka ukuthi in the things that you think wenza ngoba it's nature or it's natural, are you not perpetuating a stereotype? Are you not perpetuating a stereotype in the way that you're acting in the workplace as a Black woman? Are you not perpetuating stereotypes in the way that you're acting as a Black entrepreneur in business? When you go out lapaya and you're networking, check yourself, check those things and see, is this a stereotype that I'm perpetuating? The way that I'm thinking right now, is it because of my bias? Remember, bias is biases are there's plenty of biases, and they come from deep places, and you have to understand those biases and you will act differently. Trust me. Of course, we need a new approach in wanting equality. We need a new approach, but where it all starts, it starts with you. Make one for yourself. Make a different approach for yourself. Don't try to change all of us. Don't try to change all of the world. Make a different approach for you, for yourself, in the workplace. If you're acting in a certain way that is limiting your career or is limiting your business, make a different approach for yourself. You will realize that we will learn from you and we'll also do the same thing. There's going to be positivity all around. But if you're going to think that you're going to change the whole world, we're going to reach equality by changing the whole system, it's going to take us longer. Let's just start with yourself. Get this book and start working on yourself. Make a new approach. You will have a fulfilled life. you can achieve a fulfilled career life. You can achieve a fulfilled mother of the house life. You can achieve an entrepreneurship life that is fulfilled, but you gotta make an approach, a different approach going forward for yourself. I hope you guys have enjoyed my notes. I hope you will enjoy this book. If you haven't read it, please do. If you think it's enough, what I've said about this book is enough for you to make a change, let me know in the comments section. Thank you. Bye.